Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, this video is going to be me explaining how we can attract love through parallel realities. Now, I recently did a video on how to manifest the parallel reality you prefer, and in this video, now what I'm going to do is kind of summarize some of those ideas, because then it'll help us understand how we can go about this process specifically towards the idea of attracting love. Now, the main gist of that video was this idea that everything and in every moment we are constantly changing. That what we think of as movement is actually an illusion of continuity, that we are constantly shifting through parallel realities, that even as I go like this right now, it looks like one fluid movement, but if we were to look at it from a new point of view, we could see that we are shifting through billions of parallel realities per second, and that this movement only looks in continuous stream because we have the idea of memory and we can connect those parallel realities in this moment now. It's also about understanding that the only moment that really exists is this moment right now. This means that what we think of as the past was actually another now moment, and that we can only remember it now, in this moment now, from using our memory. That our idea of the future is something we can imagine using our brain, but by the time the future gets here, it will be this moment right now. Now, this is where the power begins, because then we realize that anything that we can imagine to be true, any parallel reality, because there's billions of parallel realities, the idea is that we can shift and become the parallel reality we choose based upon who we are being in the moment, because every parallel reality you can possibly imagine exists. So therefore, you shifting to the parallel reality you prefer will depend upon if you are able to mirror that version of you, because that version of you does exist. If you can mirror the actions, the thought patterns, who that version of you is, you then begin to sync yourself towards making that parallel reality your own. Now let's look at this from a new point of view. That was kind of the general gist of the video of how to manifest the parallel reality you prefer, but let's look at it from a point of view of using the analogy or the metaphors of looking at television. Now, you know that if you're watching television, there's different channels you can watch, and the channel that you watch will depend upon which one you tune to. Now, in the same way, imagine each of those channels is a different parallel reality. Now, they all exist now in this moment, just like you know that in the moment that you're watching the television, that you could watch ABC, NBC, or whatever channel you're watching, ESPN, whatever it is, you can watch any of those depending upon which channel you tune to, but they all exist in this moment right now. In the same way, every parallel reality you can imagine exists right now. Whichever one you tune to, and we tune to those parallel realities dependent upon our expectation, dependent upon our energy state, on our beliefs about what we will experience, and what our beliefs on what we believe are true are. So this is why it's important to realize how we can be who we prefer to be, and as we begin to be that version of us, we begin to literally shift ourselves to that parallel reality which does exist right now. Now, just in the same way, you know that if you tune to ABC, you're not going to see what's on MSNBC. That's because you're not tuned to the right frequency, the right channel. Now, in the same way, what we must begin to do is mirror ourselves towards being the version of us that has what we want to experience. And the way we do this is through a simple way of understanding how we can think about ourselves in a new way, and that as we begin to imagine and think about it, we begin to literally rewire ourselves. The neurosynaptic connections in our brain begin to wire in a new way as we begin to define ourselves in a new way. Now, when it comes to the idea of love, the way that we can do this in an effective way is by imagining what the version of us who feels that love, who has that relationship, who's doing exactly what we'd love to be doing, As we begin to look at that parallel reality which exists right now in this moment, we can see that they have a certain body language. They have a certain way they carry themselves. They have certain emotions they constantly feel. And most likely, this is where we can begin to change ourselves from the inside out by looking at that parallel reality and mirroring it. Now imagine this. The parallel reality where you are absolutely in love doing what you're doing and in love with a significant other is the idea that when you look at that, you'll see that that person feels a certain way. That person, that version of you, feels love. Now, you can see that looking at that version of you and looking at the version of you that you are now, you might be desiring love or needing someone else to complete you. But the reason you won't tune to seeing that parallel reality or to becoming that parallel reality which exists right now is because we are not matching the frequency of it, because we are not existing in the same way as that, because we are needing that love versus feeling that love. If we simply realize that we can love ourselves now in this moment and we begin to feel worthy enough and we begin to give ourselves reason enough to feel that love and we begin to match that frequency or that emotion, we then begin to get one step closer to becoming that parallel reality. Now it's about understanding that we can really give ourselves permission right now in this moment to feel love. Think about it. The idea is that we have the ability over our state of being. We give the meanings as to, oh, I'm going to be with this person, and as I'm with this person, it's like our body begins to naturally create the chemicals that give us permission to feel good. Now, of course, there's a part of oxytocin, which is like the hormone that makes us feel connected to other people, but the idea is that if we place too much importance on the idea of needing somebody else to feel whole and complete, we won't perceive the reality where we experience the love we feel for ourselves and therefore attract the love that could come to us. It's about understanding that that parallel reality exists right now, but it will literally be invisible to us unless we shift ourselves to that reality by tailoring our emotion, by thinking about ourselves in a new way, by mimicking and mirroring the parallel reality of us that's in love, that's doing everything that we'd want to be doing. And as we begin to mirror it by thinking in the same habitual patterns, as doing the same things that that person would be doing, the more that we can enact this and even act it out and begin to feel what it would feel like. Use your imagination, and as you begin to do that, and you do it from a point of feeling grounded with who you are, you'll find that your external reality will begin to change because you are internally changing. That's what's so important, and that's really the missing link in personal development, because people try to change the outside, and instead, the power is in changing the inside, because the outside is a reflection of the internal change that we make within ourselves. So to shift to that parallel reality, you must tune to it. You must imagine how that version of you feels. You must begin to have similar thought patterns. You must begin to feel the same emotions that you would feel, and understand you can generate the state from within by simply doing things that make you feel loved. You can do things that excite you. You can focus on perspectives that actually make you feel empowered. Maybe do something you're passionate about. Step into the unknown. As you begin to do that, you begin to trust yourself more. And when you do that, you then begin to feel whole and complete. And the paradox is you don't need anyone else from outside of you to complete you. But the funny part about that is that that's when you'll truly attract the love that you want, because you are embodying it. You are becoming that version of yourself. So use your imagination as a tool. Begin to imagine that that parallel reality exists, it's probable, and all you have to do is tune to it. So that's my unique idea for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, share it if you found it of value, and as always, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, much love, namaste. All right, bye.